Welcome to this week's episode of the Big Eye Podcast. As always, I am your host, LJ. And today, I am joined by a special guest, my boy that I've been trying to get on here forever. I've been trying to get this man on this show. Shout out, man. Shout out to my lookout homie chat. Like, oh man, shout out to my boy AD. AD, welcome to Big Eyes, bro.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here. I know you've been trying to get me on here for like so long, and I was like, man, I can't do it right now. I got to get the right setup. Make sure everything's good. But now that we here, man, it's all up from here. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing but love. I know you call it the big eyes, but right now I got the Brock eyes. You know what I'm saying?
I feel it. I really. Oh man, my boy AD, he's here, man. Man, so for the people, bro, that don't know you, kind of just like, man, I'm gonna just ask a question because I've asked it before to people. Man, obviously, on Twitter, if you follow him, is what's your ad again? Is at ADZL?
Yeah, it's pronounced A Dizzle, so it's one ADZL. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, if you follow him, you know that he is a big manga fan. He's heavy into it. That's what we bond over. What we talk about a lot. So what really got you started in manga? Like, what was like your earliest memories of, oh shit, like this is something I really like, something I really enjoy.
Man, it started off with like, with everybody else, Toonami, weekday afternoons, Kids WB on Saturday mornings, like Jetix, Fox Kids, all of that stuff. And then I remember I remember this specifically because it was like 2001, like late 2001. And I remember seeing Cowboy Bebop for the first time. I'm like 7 years old. I'm like, this animation kind of clean. What is this? Like, it's like Pokemon, but not Pokemon, but these folks got guns, like everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was stuff like that. And then like, just from that point on, like I even got family members who like used to burn me like DVDs of like Full Metal Alchemist, like Princess Mononoke, X 1999, stuff like that. And like, sometimes we didn't have cable. So I just popped those in and just like watched them for like long periods of time. I was like, that's really what got me into it, just like stuff like that. So like as we kept going on through life, man, I picked up One Piece, a lot of Shonen Jump stuff, and it's just stuck with me.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. But yeah, man. Well, man, we're here. We're here to talk manga. We're here to talk about the latest things that has happened this week. I think really the big story this week is Shonen Jump kind of releasing that message of they're due to COVID, due to everything going on right now, that they're telling writers or telling all the creators that take your time with scripts, like do what you got to do, what's safe. How are you currently feeling about that, and like how COVID is kind of messing with releases, and like we've had periods of time where things are going on hiatus because of everything, and now things are kind of going on this like bi-weekly type of status right now.
So I feel kind of okay with that message. Like at first it was like, dang man, like the world is really shutting down because of this epidemic. A lot of people are having to put their jobs on hold. I've been watching like the anime charts and everything like that. Like I saw Food Wars isn't coming back till like after July. Oda from One Piece put out a message saying that the manga is like might go bi-weekly, but the anime is definitely on hold. I've seen a lot of stuff get delayed, and it's like, dang man, a lot of stuff that we were looking forward to that got announced like in December that was supposed to come out this year is like being pushed back, and we're all just like, man, what we really wanted. But like I also feel like do what you got to do to stay healthy, because we won't be able to enjoy these things in the same capacity if somebody from that production team gets hurt, or gets sick and something happens to them. So it's like, I respect them for putting out that message and like making sure to take the precautions with all of their writers, with all of the production teams and everything like that, and saying we're going to keep everything down to a minimum. We're going to try to keep putting stuff out there, at least for the manga circulation. But, anime productions might take a little bit longer. But, it is all for the safety and the health of all the people who are a part of the team. So I appreciate them trying to focus on health and safety first.
Yeah, definitely. I think one big thing, especially because like, a lot of like all of manga is getting, affected by this, and anime. You got, like you said, there's a lot of things being put on hold. Their chapters are on delays now, how things are being released in stories. I feel that if they didn't do this and they're just like, no, skip it, we're gonna still, try to push stuff out. I do feel that in the terms of quality, things would have definitely taken a dip. Especially because they're not able to work in their, what the settings that they're used to.
Yeah.
And you're not working in settings that you're used to, but you're still trying to push out the same product. That product is probably either going to diminish. There's going to be an issue. There's going to be something. So I do feel like in terms of quality, yes, this is good. But in terms of like bigger animes, bigger mangas, I don't see. I see them being able to survive this because they've already built and established their names. The things that I am like concerned about are like mangas that are just getting started, things that are getting like that are newer, that are still trying to build their name, and seeing how that's going to affect them in the long run. Like I don't know if you tapped into it with Guardian of the Witch. That's another newer manga that I've been kind of reading. It's just like newer things like that I'm kind of like worried and concerned about, of how these things are going to survive this, how they're going to have to adjust to this, since they are so brand new and they're still trying to like get their feet wet in the game.
Yeah, that is one thing. I haven't read Guardian of the Witch. I know there's like a Guardian of the Witch, Gravity Boys, all of that stuff in Shonen Jump. It is kind of weird to see, like, as far as newer stuff, like how that's gonna take form in the world. Like, I really hope, like, Shonen Jump like says, you guys have a little bit more time. I know this is like a weird situation to be in, and if a manga's not doing well, they're quick to like cut them out and say, you know what, get them out of here. We got to get the next one in. Keep filling up slots for everything new. But with stuff like this, I think it is kind of like you should give them a little more leeway, because this is a different type of epidemic. So I feel like those might survive or might last a little bit longer, especially because like we're seeing the trend of, okay, things are coming out intermittently. You might have readers who look on the app or who look at the books in Japan and are like, okay, I know that One Piece isn't coming back. I know Black Clover might be on hiatus this week. Boruto comes out once a month. So what else is there? Like, what can I jump into that I haven't really been paying attention? I think it might actually push newer mangas because of that. And they might actually see like a boost in sales, especially with like Demon Slayer coming to an end, Promised Neverland coming to an end, stuff like that. I think there might be a slight push for newer manga at this point in time. I feel like it might help them, but I'm not sure. But I really hope that Shonen Jump is, a little lenient on those new mangaka and new mangas out there.
Yeah, definitely. And then things like One Piece, those things kind of need to take a break. When you're damn near 1,000 chapters into the game, bro. Like, I'm feeling so good. Like, man, like we gonna take a little bit off, man.
Man, look, with One Piece, I'm not even gonna hold you. With One Piece, with some of the stuff that's been coming out lately, it's been like, okay, they starting to wrap up a couple of plot points here and there, so they're starting to ramp up a bit. I can see where this is going, but at the same time, it's like, you gotta take the time to like let other people jump in while this epidemic is going on. Like, the shout out to the Straw Hat Challenge, but like, what I mean, we gotta get,
it's crazy because like I'm still doing it. I'm still reading. I'm still pushing through, and I think I'm at like chapter 2 something, and like I keep feeling like I'm making a bunch of progress. But then I look, I'm like, God damn, there is a lot of there's a lot of chapters. Like, man. I think, man, listen, Demon Slayer, shout out to them. They're wrapping up at like the legit perfect time. Like,
exactly.
Since we could segue this into the Promised Neverland, one of the chapters that we're going to talk about this week, which they've been telling us for months now that this is the final arc. We're wrapping up. Things are wrapping up. And things that have not been wrapped up. They've been in that for a long time. And then even this week, they're talking about like, okay, there's only a couple more chapters left, but now they're working on a special project like after all this. We talked about this. You told me that you are a bigger fan right now of this ending than the Demon Slayer ending.
Man, look. Here's the thing about this. I appreciate the Promised Neverland for everything that they've done. Like, I think I figured it out and why I like the Promised Neverland a little bit more, because at a certain point in the Promised Neverland story, they gave us a timeline on all of the events that needed to happen. Whereas in Demon Slayer, they could have gave us a timeline, but then the writer and in universe, the antagonists were like, you know what? We're going to cut all of this out. You know, I don't want to say any spoilers for anybody who might be listening, but like, for the end of the anime season, the main antagonist was like, you know, half of you guys, the lower half, the lower moons or whatever, just like, you guys are worthless. Get up out of here. And then like a whole bunch of stuff just happens. And then he raids the actual like mansion that everybody's staying in. It's just like, oh man, you're really just like speeding up the plot. But then it's like, they extended the longest battle with him. Like, I don't know how long that battle was. It was a lot of stuff that I really didn't like about the Demon Slayer ending, that it took so long to fight the main antagonist in Demon Slayer. Whereas in Promised Neverland, there was like a progression. You had to like build layers. First, it was like Isabella. Shout out to Isabella. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. But
Happy Mother's Day to man. Hey, listen, one of the biggest face turn in the history. Like that, her turn at the end is just wow, wowza.
That was the wildest thing.
Man, like listen, her turn to now who she was at the end is just like, you know, and I know, and I agree with you that I have in terms, even though Promise Never see my problem with the Promise Neverland ending, there was that they were doing a lot of, we're gonna call back to a lot of these things. You know, you got, you know, when Chica came back and they know now she's a part of the plan, and then next thing you know, Grant Loomis comes back, and like they were doing a lot of these like callback to things, and it was just like, no, I'm just like, what does all this mean? Like, why are all these people like coming back, like Grant Loomis coming back and just being like, you know what, I got washed by humans and now I love humans. Like that was, I was like,
yeah, that was the weirdest thing. Like, I understand, like I was talking to one of my friends and he was just like, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense because he's like the sister of the queen, but at the same time, it was just like, that was a plot point that really didn't need to be brought back, but I'm glad they kind of answered that, because to me, Lewis was like the best antagonist besides Isabella, to be honest. Like,
oh yeah, he was definitely yes, he dead like outside of Isabella, you know, he was the best. Like that whole arc was amazing. Probably my favorite thing about this whole manga was that arc there. And you know, him coming back, you know, it was cool to see him come back and come like back as this like reformed monster. But you know, at the same time, it felt for me a little bit that they made his death, like they were trying to, like they made his death seem not meaningless, but like
it was definitely less impactful.
Yeah, it was less impactful. Like, bro, they made him like he was legit like top god, bro, in terms of demons. Like no one's defeated him. Like, you know, his abilities excel like over everyone else's. And the fact that they were able to kill him, you're like, holy shit! Like, you know, that impact. And then when he comes back, you're like, oh, what?
It was kind of funny too, because it was just like he came back and he's like, yeah, I don't want the crown, but I think she's a better fit than me. Like, it is what it is. I was like, okay, Lewis. I mean, I guess you just go sit back in the shadows and sip the coffee. I mean, okay. I mean, you was cool like, anyway.
No, for real. But in this week's chapter, very intense. Very, very intense chapter. They have done this now for like 4 weeks. Starting off with Peter, when he committed suicide, which was like, holy shit. Now on Mother's Day, they dropped a chapter with Isabella making this chapter, we get they're all celebrating. We finally get to see the Phil and Emma reunion.
Exactly. The
biggest reunion that everyone's been waiting for. Everyone's been seeing them reunite, seeing all the kids reunite, and uphold their promise. Norman. You see all of them together, and you're just like, wow, like it kind of they really hit you where this is coming to an end.
Exactly. Like this was their plan. They spent like a year and a half, 2 years, like saying, Phil, we're gonna come back. Just be patient. And then I had the stuff with the guy coming after Phil, and like you're Phil, right? And it was just like, oh man, like what's going on with what happened to Phil? Like you can't be scaring me like this, man. Like it was some crazy stuff.
Phil, shout out to the realist. Shout out to my young one.
The OG.
Listen, for real. Like he held it down 2 years. He was like, I got you. She was like, don't worry. Like, we're gonna be back in 2 years. Just hold it down for me. He held it down. He held it down for the homies, even the new kids. He was holding it down. And then they finally come back, and like in the beginning of this chapter, you're like, wow, like this is really coming to an end. You're just kind of seeing everyone come together. You see all the mothers led by Isabella is pretty much just like, what, we're sorry, like let's go to the human world together. And then we get a rogue demon that's just pretty much like, I'm not going out like this. I don't care. Like, you're not gonna eat my food. Like, y'all are not going anywhere. And he goes in for the kill, and Isabella makes the greatest motherly sacrifice. And takes and takes one. She jumps in front of the attack and takes one for to save all the children, save Emma and them. And now I'm just like, damn. Well, how much longer are we about to extend this joint?
Exactly. And they were already saying like, okay, these supposed to be the last few chapters and everything like that. But then I'm like, bro, she had a full circle. She had a whole come around. She went from like selling the children, becoming the grandmother to like
becoming a grandmother. All these things, and just to come back to this. But I think I do appreciate them though. Kind of giving her we're gonna presume that she's going to die, giving her the ending that they did. I appreciate it in terms of it gives her a chance to feel like she's done some type of good.
She's done some type of good for Emma and Norman and Ray, and also for the fact it's like her character actually came to like a full circle. It's like I kind of attribute it to the fact of like a parent saying, you guys really don't need me. You went on this entire journey all by yourselves without my help. I was the one that was stopping you, keeping you here. And like, I was going to sell you guys off, but you guys were able to escape, and you saw the world. You saw the world for what it really was. And you guys made it and came back, and you changed the world. And so like, I see it as you don't really need me as your parent. You guys are all right on your own, even though I really wish that they could have been able to like, well, we don't know because the chapter hasn't come out yet, but I'm presuming like her character is coming to a close. Like, as a parent, I couldn't be more proud of you, but I wish I could have done more type of a deal. And I really appreciate that about Isabella in this self-sacrifice,
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder, what's going to happen next chapter. Really my obviously she's probably gonna have some closing moments. But I was one of those people who were just like, man, I really wish I got to see her go to the other side, especially them going to the human world, her being able to experience that. And even when you look at her, you look at her past, they have done moments where you have seen Isabella's like, past, her coming up in the farms and her becoming what she did. Man, just the sadness of feeling that she also was one kid like Emma that longed to go to the human world, that longed to escape these farms, and to see her now finally get her chance to really make it there, and then kind of having that taken away from her. That was like another, it's like heartbreaking moment. Like it was so heartbreaking at the end. It was just like, damn, bro, like you finally see her just come around, and it just ends like this. But she goes out so like glorious in a way of like she's protecting all her children, she's protecting Emma, she's protecting Ray and Norman.
Exactly. It's like one of those tragic ends. It's like, dang, you wish, especially when it's somebody. It was basically like her redemption arc. You know what I mean? Like every character that you kind of like dislike in the beginning that gets the redemption arc, like you like Itachi from Naruto. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that type of character. It's like, okay, you finally got your chance to like for the reader, for the person who's enjoying it to like really come around to your character. It's like, oh man, like. that kind of sucks now. Like we done went so far. All your kids done went so far to help you out. Like Emma really came a long way. She said, "I'm not trying to kill anybody. I'm trying to go to the human world with all of my family and friends, like including the mothers. And even if the demons want to come, they can come too. But like, you know what I mean? It's all of this,
Yeah, bro,
all of this."
When she extended the offer to Peter, I was like, oh.
Exactly.
I was like, oh shit. She was like, nah, like she was like, I'm done with this fighting stuff. Like, you just come with me too. And Peter chose to go out his way, which was another just really wicked ending. Like, man, the Promised Neverland just knows how to just nail a death. Like, they know how to just nail a death. Like,
from chapter one, episode one, where you saw what's her name, Connie, the first girl that Norman and Emma saw, and you just like see her, and you just like, oh, this is what we doing. Oh,
bro, like it really is like that. Like I will applaud them. Like shout out to my dog Cyrus, who has been going on this very long no tournament arc. He's with all this shit, but Cyrus. But no, yeah, like they just know how to make a death seem so meaningful and so like intense and like it really hits you, it impacts you, even with characters that like Peter, where he is a bad guy, where he was like going out like you wanted him to die at a moment, but then to see the way he goes out, you're like, holy shit, like he really is dead, like he really went out like that, like damn, I didn't mean him to go out like that.
Exactly.
It's just crazy how well they have, written these characters and written this story in terms of where you just everything they have done is very meaningful. Even in the end, where I just be like, damn, like we're like, was this wrapping up? Like, what does this mean? What does this mean? In the end of everything, it ends up being meaningful. It ends up having some type of purpose to it, and just doesn't happen just to happen. Even with the Grand Louis thing, like I was talking about, him coming back, yeah, it seemed that them killing him seems less impactful. But thinking about him crowning Mujica, if he doesn't do that, he doesn't get the people behind her. It's like those little things that they do so well.
Exactly, and it's like it shows how well I want to say well developed how the characters are, because it is like it's a fleshed out universe. Everybody has a different meaning, like you said. Like it's a purposeful meaning. Everybody has some type of purpose as far as the story is concerned. Like I haven't seen really one wasted character as a part of Promised Neverland. Like even the guys from Goldie Pond, like who were trying to like from William Minerva and all of that stuff, and then like the people who were with Norman from that one place with James. It's just like, I mean, Peter. It's just all of these people just came together. It's a fleshed out universe. Everybody has a good purpose. And, I appreciate Promised Neverland for all of the characters, the universe that they set. Even the point where Peter was like, the human world and the demon world aren't exactly that much different. So like when you go there, you're gonna find the same things that you found here. Like probably even more trials there than here. It's like, oh man, but like, everybody's still here. Everybody's come together. They've come so far. So you really can't discourage them, because if they've been through this, then they can they can go through the human world, no problem. Like it's all so well rounded, bro. I can't help but love Promised Neverland for how it's told this story.
Do you think the human world is going to play a big role in that special project they're doing? Like, do you think the special project is like a post after this, like what happens in the real world when they get there? I'm really wondering what this special project is about. I haven't seen much about it. I haven't read much about it, but I'm very curious about where they're gonna go with this.
I feel like the special project, to me, special project sounds like a movie. And I feel like the movie, if it is a movie, it would be like a case of the demon world and not the demon world, the human world. And we kind of get a glimpse of how the human world looks. And from the other side, all of the humans who were, who agreed to let the demons and the farms exist in the demon world happen. So we might get a little plot detail about that. I feel like that's where that's going to be. Yeah. And if they at least expand upon that, then I'll be like, all right, like this is something necessary to like wrap up the entire story. Like it's necessary. Like right now the story is wrapping up good, but like that will make the whole story more complete.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that if this special project does end up being like a movie or like a special program or something like that, seeing something non-canon where we get some more backstory or some more explanation on even just how the deal became, what the world looked like before the split, like all these things. I would be, that would be something I would be down for. I feel that they will probably end up giving us a glimpse of like Emma and Doom and what the world's going to look like post, or what their journey looks like post the demon world and what what it looks like in the human world. But that special project, hopefully it's something, hopefully it's something special, and hopefully it's something that really ties into the story and something that can give us some more context and some more background. There are times where special projects, cough cough, My Hero movie, the newest one, Two Heroes, where it's just like man, it went so non-canon that it just ended up not making sense. But
okay, to defend that way, it's just like, okay, with My Hero, I appreciate it because with the non-canon stuff, I know for a fact after the last movie, I was like, you know what, I'm okay with these being like what if movies if we never see like these tag teams or whatever happen in like the main story, because at least they exist in some format. You know what I mean? Like what if like Deku and All Might had like a ultimate fight together? What if Bakugo, spoilers, Bakugo gets one for all? Like what like, you know what I mean? Like what if Todoroki gets it? You know what I mean? I don't mind if that's like the trend for movies with My Hero. So I mean, like it is what it is. But as far as Promised Neverland, before we get to the other stuff, like the only thing that I also want to find out, and it'll make everything complete, is I want to know how to pronounce the demon's name that made the promise. I don't. I don't. We're about to end the story, and we still don't know how to pronounce his name, bro. It's like
that shit is Sanskrit. I don't know what it means, bro. He literally wrote a bunch of lines. I'm like, anyone is listening to this, and you know, like what that is written in, what the languages is, whatever, please hit me up and let me know what it means. I really want to know, because they gave this man such a bro. Why are we making him incognito? Like, why are we? What is his purpose? Like, no one. Like, I don't even know what he is really. Like, do they really even explain? Bro, listen. Hopefully that's a special project where we learn who that is and how to pronounce his name. I hope the special project is just them telling us his name and that's it. Like, if they told us if that's the special project, I will accept it.
If that's 10 seconds into it and we just find his name, I'm like, all right, I'm good. 10 out of 10. Promised Neverland. That's all I need.
Just wrap it up. That's all I want to know. But this we brought it up, and I feel this was really the main event of the weekend. This chapter of My Hero really was the main event, man. This is what everyone has been waiting for. This has been the moment in which just things take a turn. You think that the heroes are up 3-1, and LeBron, Shiggy James has woken up, and it is time to turn the tide, man. What an intense chapter of My Hero this week, man.
Man, look, when we got into the dreamscape and we saw all of his family members, including his dad, and it's just like, you in my study, and like all of his family members telling him to go. I'll say this, and I've seen this kind of sort of with like some other people who say like, My Hero has been kind of lately, but like the thing, this is what I appreciate about Shigaraki and My Hero as a whole. Like, they are deliberately taking the time to flesh out a villain. And I personally haven't read any type of like manga that will give a villain a better backstory and focus more time on the villain. Like, the only other things that I could think of are like Hunter x Hunter, where they focus time on like the Phantom Troop or like the Chimera Ants. Those are the only times where I've seen like villains get more fleshed out than the heroes more than anything. But like with Shigaraki, he is the main antagonist. He is the counterpart to Deku, and with all for one, whereas all Deku and All Might for one for all. It's like you get the chance to see how far he's willing to go and willing to forget his past and not turn back, because he's like, enough is enough. Like I don't need my past anymore. I'm looking to the future. I'm about to change the world. You know what I mean? And he's irredeemable. Like he's willing to throw his whole past away, and man, he's about to go on a rampage. I don't know who's about to get swept, but I know for a fact that one guy, that one hero excellence who was just happy to be in there. Oh, he's out of here. I'm sorry.
R.I.P. to a lot of people, dog. R.I.P. to heroes, bro. Like for real, man. Listen, but no, I completely agree with you in terms of just how they have grown Shigaraki, how they have just groomed him to be the villain that he is now. This chapter is literally one of the best chapters of manga I have just ever read. This chapter is so damn good. Doctor just explaining to President Mike like the whole fucking situation.
Oh man, that part. Oh my god.
No, and you see, you starting to see, President Mike, who is this lively, he is the comedic relief, really, in a very funny show already. He's like more comedy on top of that, but like, you see this, very funny guy, this lighthearted guy, whole demeanor just change. You figure out that even the doctor has a quirk, and him just explaining the singularity theory and all these just things, bro, and just all these things coming together. It's so fucking amazing. Like it's so crazy.
And I think the biggest thing is like, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you good. Talk, bro.
I was about to say no, because I think the biggest thing from that whole section is the doctor saying, you're from way back then. I really wish I could have got Erasure instead. He was talking about Eraserhead Aizawa, and President Mike to snap. He was like, bruh, this man is disgusting. He's like human filth. I'm like, bruh, President, you have to be the most scum of the earth to take a happy-go-lucky guy who always wants to see folks smile like President Mike and make him that upset. Like, and you threatened his friends, and you took one of his closest friends and turned him into a villain, bro. Like, cool, bruh. I was just like, yo, you with My Hero, you find a way to like love all of these characters that you have been with for the longest, or you find like endearing qualities about everybody, and you see like they're more multi-layered than you think. Like everybody isn't really as one note as you think they are. You like with Bakugo, you thought you was just like, oh, he's like a Vegeta character. At the very beginning, he's like, oh man, he's about to be a villain. Ain't no problem. We see him in season 3. He's like, yeah, I ain't trying to be no villain, man. Y'all can't turn me. I don't turn cold. And I was like, okay, Bakugo, all right.
For real though, you do like, you find all these qualities and all these characters, and just to see them at the end start to like strip those like characteristics away because of just like the trauma and the shit they've gone to. It also just like draws like bigger questions of like, damn, like how long had they been watching the heroes? How long had they been studying these guys? How long had they been like, scouting these guys out to build these nomuds, to do all these things? And you're starting to wonder, like, fuck, how long has their plan been going on?
And that's the crazy thing, because it's like the doctor is 120 something years old. Like you find out his quirk is like longevity and replaced for like being physically strong. So like he's really like been here for a good minute. So when you really sit back and think about how long he's been alive, this has been going on for a good little minute. Like they have been
real. They've been here and they've just been plotting. They've just been plotting and plotting and plotting. They're like to now see like, holy crap! They like this plan has been much longer than what we really thought it was, and to now see like, oh, like this has been a very long time in the making. Like and all that, and you see where we're at now. And really the most beautiful part of just this whole thing, it's like a beautiful tragedy in a sense, is that moment of Shigaraki finally accepting his calling, in a sense. Finally accept like this is where I am going to be. This is where I'm going to go. Because, throughout the story, he does struggle with letting go of his past. He does struggle with, like his past still haunting him. You see it in the, in his battle against Destro, where, it all comes together. He finally like blows up and like, it's, and to see it now just be where it's at and see him finally accept it and for him to finally, let go of those hands that have been on him for so long, and to him finally be like, I am now the new, all for one. I am the new top dog. I am the new top villain. Even the slight, and another great moment is the slight, just a really quick glimpse of Midoriya, who's like the
he's like, he's coming.
Bro, like, like that thing woke in him where he's just like, oh shit, like things are now like real. Things are like, things are now about to start heating up.
It's about to be like, it's just really about to be a battleground. Like when you like at the beginning, we were already like the heroes have been 3-1. They've been up 3-1. Like you see how many L's that they had to take, even way before like the beginning of the series, with All Might losing like part of his body and the similar pieces like deteriorating. Then we have like the USJ incident. I don't want to really count Stain because he was like an anti-hero, so it's really like in between there. But then you also have like the stuff with Muscular. You have the Overhaul stuff. You have My Villain Academy. You see all of these things where the villains actually aren't just like they're losing, but they're building ground. Like they're doing stuff under the radar to where everything is just like they're about to turn the tide. It's really about to be a great shift in the world, and they have really been pushing that for the longest. So, and the thing I think people forget is the fact that like this is still Deku's story on how he became the #1 hero. So I think at a certain point you have to like give the villains the upper hand at a certain point, because how else is he gonna be able to climb the ranks? How else is he gonna be able to like become that #1 hero? What does that entail? And I think this is like the beginning of that turning point.
Yeah, definitely. And My Hero really might go 500 plus, bro. Like I'm really thinking about that. Like really think about it, dog. Like this is now the ending of their first year.
That's true. That's very true.
And I really don't see, the battle between Shigaraki and Deku being like a one battle type of thing. That I don't see it in like being one of those like this is the final battle. This is this and that. I definitely see that there is way more to come, especially because first of all, Deku hasn't gotten all his successor's powers yet.
Of course, that's a slow build.
Yeah, we're still waiting for him. Like he could barely control the black rope.
The black warps.
Black warps, yeah. And so he could barely control that. He hasn't even tapped into the levitating aspect of his powers yet. And there's other people that he has not whose powers he hasn't gained yet. And so just to really thinking about it, like this is going to be something that's going to be very long. But just even then though, just to think about like, bro, there's I feel so much more ahead of us for them to make such a climax moment like this. That is just it's amazing, bro. Like it really is. Like this is some of their best work. Like really some of My Hero's best work.
I'm gonna let you know right now. I attribute this. I'm a Atlanta Falcons fan, so I attribute this to being like the Super Bowl, where it's like Tom Brady. We're down. Everybody loves to make the joke, but it's like, oh man, like the villain's finna come back. Because I don't like. I respect Tom Brady. He's one of the greatest of all time. But like in that moment where everybody's just like, oh man, we about to win. It's the second half, and then all of a sudden something happens. It's like, it's the turning point. It's the turning point.
It's the turning point. Like, man, it really is the turning point. And it's crazy because, man, like, while this is going on, there's so many other like little stories going on. We still have the big, is Endeavor the Poppy question mark with Dabi. We have just like, there are other heroes that have just like we have not seen yet. We haven't seen the Bakugo Todorokis yet. While they're in battle. Obviously we had the quick glimpse of Deku and him doing his thing right now, but there's a lot of things going on, and even during all this chaos right now, I'm liking how they're keeping it very controlled. They're keeping it very centered too right now. Like, obviously we know that Shigaraki being in that tank, him being there, and them trying to stop that was the main focal point. And now, obviously, that has not succeeded. But we're here now. Shigaraki is now awakened, and like, bro, the shit that is about to pop off after this.
Oh my God. One thing I do appreciate about the last few chapters too is like, well, consistently, it's always the art, the manga art. Like when he was in his dystopian mind and everything like that, above the city with all the hands and everything like that, that was like one of the greatest double spreads I've ever seen. Like I was like, oh my God. I had to do like a triple take. I was like, I had to turn my phone sideways. It was like
Bro, that was very like mob-esque too. Like that was like Mob Psycho, like very esque in that whole situation right there, bro.
Yo.
That shit was crazy, man. But boy, my boy AD, thank you, man, so much for joining me on this week's episode of the Big Eyes Podcast, dog. Man, I'm so happy you finally got on, man.
Man, I'm ready. I'm anytime, man. Anytime. I'm good. I got my setup now, so anytime you want to just talk about it, let me know. I'm here. We can shoot it all day. No, it is what it is.
Yeah, let's get it. All right, man. Before we leave. All right, before you plug yourself and like plug your socials and all that and everything you're doing, what are you reading right now? Like, what's the big things that you're reading right now that you like super tapped into?
All right,
things about to start.
Oh man, so all right. So for me, like right now, I've been reading Tower of God. If you follow me on Twitter at 1A I've been reading Tower of God. Anytime that I'm in like deep into something, I'll typically change my name to like whatever it is I'm reading. So right now I'm reading Tower of God. I'm also reading, of course, One Piece. That's even though that's going bi-weekly, that's like my favorite manga out there. So it's like, all right, the Wano stuff is amazing to me. I'm reading Black Clover. And I'm starting to actually go back into Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I've stopped it for a second, but now that like Promised Neverland and Demon Slayer are wrapping up, I'm going back into Jujutsu Kaisen. So that's about to be something big. And also, what is it called? Dr. Stone. I was about to say, like I'm starting to pick up Dr. Stone again because I really like Dr. Stone. I really like the story that they're trying to tell there. Like I appreciate that.
I need to tap into Dr. Stone. I watched part of the anime. I haven't read the manga yet. I watched part of the anime. It's cool. I think like I need to read the manga because I just need to get through the storyline. I kind of stopped when Primate or like what was it like Primate Team?
Oh man, they went off to be secret agents or whatever like that for the other side.
Yeah, it was a lot going on. But man, once again, my guy AD, follow him on Twitter. Thank you once again, man, so much for tuning in, for tapping in with me, bro. For all my listeners, follow me at Jamal SLM. If you want all the anime content, follow up at the Lookout RNC. And if you just want podcasts about sports, anything, bro, all the content, follow us at RNC Radio Live. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay plus ultra. Peace.